Hello, and welcome back to Xpwaste, where no matter how much money you earn doing PVM or flipping, you'll never be as rich as the Arty Knight. Hi, I'm Oxie.
And I am Michael. If you are new around here, thank you so much for tuning into Xpwaste. We're an old school RuneScape centered podcast. Basically, we'll talk about what's happening in the game, talk about game updates, cool things you can do on your account. We'll definitely get off on tangents, so be prepared for that. It's kind of the thing we do. If you're not new around here, welcome back. Like Oxie said, we're glad you're here. How are you, Oxie?
I'm good. I'm doing my most favorite activity in the world, pickpocketing Arty Knights. That's where the intro came from. I still have at least 2 million XP to go to get to 91. So,
okay.
Maybe a little bit less than that. Yeah, I think I'm just under 2 mil because 91 is what, like 5.3 million?
5.9.
5.9. Then yeah, I am. I'm 1.75 mil away. Sick.
It's not bad.
So I have a lot of pickpocketing to do.
Actually, 10 hours of literally just tapping the screen that's a long time.
It's only long because it's boring. Like, I think I'm bored with it. So I'm not a big fan, but also not a fan of thieving either. So just like in general, but we all know that. Otherwise, things are good. I made a new goal wheel for myself this week.
Ooh.
I'll tell you about that.
You did not.
So I have my goal sheet that we've talked about a couple months ago, and I'm slowly chipping away at these like little goals as we progress through the year. Other than the big looming goal, which we can talk about in a minute, there's like the achievement diary cape, 2200 total level, and then it's just like random shit.
Yeah.
It's like, get the important capes, get a good total level, fuck around and find out. Like, we have like KC goals, we have clue scroll goals, we have like any random assortment of specific 99s that I'm just going to have when I like get extra money for it. We've been over this in the past couple of weeks of like what 99s I've got saved and all that, or what 99s I have banked rather. I've also got some stretch goals on there, one of which I've actually completed. One of those stretch goals was hard mode Tob, being able to do one of those or being able to get a completion.
Okay.
So I don't think I certainly haven't learned hard mode Tob, but I have completed like 5 or 6 maybe at this point. So we're getting there with our goals, but I've really been stagnated because of like 91 thieving, Infernal Cape. Like I said, they're two like monolithic goals that just feel really far away at any given time. So I created a goal wheel on the Spin the Wheel app. spinthewheel.app is the website, and it has Vorkath, Irby, Temporos, Wintertodd, Arty Knights, Wines, Barrows, and Slayer. These all are various goals that I have, and it's called the 1 hour goal wheel. So whatever it lands on, I do for an hour. So I train Wines for an hour, I do Irby for an hour. I got Barrows like twice in the last couple of days, and I've been doing a lot of Barrows on the main, which is so fun.
It is.
I it's one of those, like, I used to love Barrows, and doing it on the main, I still love Barrows. Like, Barrows is a little bit like out of my range for things I like should be doing PVM wise. You know, it's not beneath me. That's not the word I'm looking for. I'm a much better player than I was when I started doing Barrows. Let's put it that way. And I still have a blast doing Barrows runs.
Is it?
Opening the chest is like huge dopamine for me. I don't know why. So
is it like the equivalent of like you're in a candle shop and you're smelling so many different candles, and then they have like the little cup of coffee beans. You just smell the beans and it cleanses your palate or whatever. It's like, is Barrows your PVM palate cleanser?
Kind of. Barrows, if we're talking the candle analogy, Barrows is like, it's a really familiar candle that you forgot existed. And when you smell it, you're like, oh shit.
Love that.
Yeah, I love this candle. Like that is what Barrows is like for me. So we currently have 450 KC. The goal for the end of the year is 500. So we're probably going to tick that one off pretty quickly just because I'm flying through these chests. Sangstaff, House Teleport, Imbued Heart, Blowpipe with Dragon Darts, doing Barrows chests on my Iron Man, then going over and doing them on the main. Beautiful. So I've been kicking it with the goal wheel this week, and then I have one little like sliver of a tile. It's like a really thin slice. It's not a thin slice, but it has really low weighting on the thing that says Inferno Run.
Nice.
So when I spin the wheel, there's a slight chance that it lands on Inferno.
Okay.
Do you want to
talk about you want to talk about your PB?
Yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of Inferno, we've been doing a lot of runs this weekend. So normally I do 1 run a day. Yesterday, Saturday, I did 3 runs. I did them in VC with the boys. I think the first time I made it to like wave 24, which was like Ranger double blob, and I'm like, man, dude, that's shit. And I'm like, well, that's my attempt for the day. And they're like, that does not count for an attempt. Got back in, died on wave 61 because I oxy clicked my way through a boss. Oxy clicking through a boss is when you mean to click on the boss, but you instead yellow click the boss where you like walk through it or underneath it. So you path out with the wrong prayer on and get smacked for 70. Die. That's oxy clicking in the Inferno. Then the next wave, or the next one we did, got to 51 and then was lazy flicking so hard. The lazy caught up with me, and I was a tick late on a major and got hit for like a 56 and died. I'm like, well, I can't even be mad at that because that's just me being like stupid. But today I sent another run, and we made it to Jad at Zuck. So that's our new PB. We fought Jad at Zuck. We died because we were a tick late going to the safe spot with the shield. We just like weren't in the right spot for just like half a second.
Yeah, dude.
And we got killed. Well, it's funny because I tanked a Zuck hit before that. This whole run was like major tank test. The boys that were in VC, they can attest that like I took a hit on triples with all 3 Jads out. I took 1 hit from Zuck for a 65. I tanked 2 blobs at one time while trying to kill a major. I was tanking range hits and blob hits all the while like praying mage to protect from whatever. I was tanking melee hits. Like on this episode of I Shouldn't Be Alive.
Right, I was going to say that.
probably about 50 times in this Inferno.
Wow.
Like the saying, sometimes it's better to be lucky than to be good. Absolutely for that run. But to cap that whole thing off, runs are feeling good.
You're getting close.
Runs are feeling like
very close.
Solves are a lot quicker.
Good. For
waves. Like the confidence with 2 ticking is a lot higher. Like I am just like instinctively getting into a rhythm with it. I do have the metronome plugin favorited. So as soon as I open up the plugin hub, the metronome's the first one right there at the top. So it's feeling good. And I know I've said before I'm going to send runs this week, but for the first time in a while anyways, there's like motivation and a very real feeling of like it's coming.
It's coming. Right. I was going to ask.
It's coming.
How many attempts realistically would you give yourself till you think you have it? Like are we talking like 5 more, 10 more?
I'm going to play it real safe and say like 10 really good attempts.
Okay.
Because
within the next 10.
I haven't seen healer like 10 good attempts. Like the amount of times I go in there and die on wave like 23,
sure,
which like isn't even an important wave, or like I die on wave 36, not because I do anything wrong, because I just like forget to turn my mage prayer back on. Today I clicked in between mage and range and just tanked a mage hit.
Oh damn.
Got hit a 5. I should have died.
Yeah.
Like the run should have been over, but I got hit a 5. So like I don't know. So discounting those runs, because like it's the Inferno, that shit happens. Hopefully by the next 10, at least 10 Zucks, I would say. Triples don't feel terrible. I have to like hype myself up. Ooh, 91 Hunter. Congratulations, Michael. Congratulations. Triples, I just have to like hype myself up. Like I'll be at the login screen. I was today. A bunch of people in VC. I'm just going, it's just fast Jad. It's just fast Jad. It's just Jad, but fast. It's just Jad, but fast. It's just Jad, but fast. Type my credentials and like hit the enter button. Like
anything you can
Jad,
do
but fast. Come on.
To help yourself, I guess.
Which, end of the day, that's what it is. It's just Jad, but fast. significantly more pressure, it feels like, but still Jad, but fast. But so it's a lot of like really cheesy hyping myself up, like, oh, double Jad, we've done lots of double Jad. Like trying to keep it together.
Now that you've made it to triple Jads, can you do the practice? The thing where
no,
they give you...
you have to get the Infernal Cape to do the
okay.
Shrek challenge.
Can you go to doubles, or can you only do one?
No, you can do up to 2,
Okay.
which is why I say we've done double Jads before.
Yeah.
There's combat achievements around double Jads. Like, I've spent my fair share of time at double Jad, practicing it. So once the first Jad dies, I feel a little bit more comfortable. But even so, a missed flick is like an insta kill. So, just a matter of keeping it together. But I would say 10 more really good attempts, 10 more either appearances at Zuck or appearances at triples, because I haven't beat Jad at Zuck. I haven't gotten to healers. I haven't killed healers. Like, I haven't had to manage potentially 2 sets at the same time. Like, my supply management is getting better, but I think I need about 2 more brews and 1 more restore, as per Jesse's suggestion, to be like confidently good at the next Zuck I'm at. So we'll see. We've got time.
That's exciting, man.
It is. It feels good to be at that point. But I once again have spoken far too long about how my week is going. I do this every week, I feel like. And now it's my turn to ask you how your week is going. Michael, what have you been up to?
I will say this before I start. You were gone for like the last 3 weeks, besides last week. So you got some time to make up for you talking. People have heard me a lot if you're caught up. So, I'm here for the Oxie talk. But I'm doing well. This week has been fun. Baby's got some diaper rash issues, so that's been my weekend. But he started school last week, which was really fun. I say school, it's Montessori school, so they can go they can start super, super young. Normally, you don't start preschool until like 2 or 3. I don't know. You don't start at 13 months, but it's basically like a daycare that they have structured learning, if you're not familiar with Montessori. But it just allows the wife and I now to have, because we both work from home, it allows us to have like ultra dedicated, like no baby in the house work time, which has been really cool. And I'm in RuneScape. I am on the agility grind, but different this time, because in the past, you guys, if you're longtime listeners of the show, and Oxie knows this too, like if you know me and you know my habit with just grinding out skills, I could just sometimes just put my head down and do it. But then I just feel not burnt, because I feel burnt, but then I also don't want to stop. And that's not a healthy place to be, especially for my what mental capacity I can put into RuneScape right now. So I've been training agility when I'm up for it, and then when I'm not up for it, I've just been training Slayer. So it's been really fun. Artie is not that bad. Let me actually see how many. I'm at I'm only at like 160 laps at Artie. I thought I was at way more than that, but how am I only at 160? That's confusing. Anyway, yeah, agility has been a lot of fun. And I say that with a grain of salt.
Back up. We need some more. We need some more context there. Back up.
Context to that statement. Agility has been a lot of fun without having the pressure of like agility locked to 99. Because I've done that to myself 3 times now: fishing, mining, and rune crafting. And I'm not doing it this time. So I'm free to train other skills. I've been doing constant birdhouse runs. I've been doing farm runs. I've been training Slayer. I'm nearly 99 defense, but I'm not rushing to get it. Like 150k. That would take me probably 2 hours with Slayer. But I also gave myself 1 episode ago, I can't remember. But I talked about the fact that I want to max before my membership runs out. And I think I have like 212 days left.
We have a date, boys. We
Oh, yeah,
have a
it's
date.
March
You want me to
9th.
say the date? It is. Did I pin it? I pinned it in the Xpwaste chat. Surely I pinned it. No? I thought it was, March 9th, March 8th, something like that.
March 9th, 2022. 2023.
Yeah.
Sorry. We're already in
March 9th
2022.
is when my membership runs out, so maxing party by then of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to edit that message, but I do want to pin it so we have it so we have it for reference. So you heard it here first, boys.
Yeah, I mean, I'm halfway to almost halfway. I'm nearly halfway to 99 agility. It's really just agility and Slayer. I keep telling myself that if I can just get agility and Slayer done, maxing is just around the corner because Hunter is fine, and I think thieving would literally take me like a week because I'm 93 thieving. So it's doable, boys. It's doable. I didn't.
Have you kind of like, what's your last 99 going to be? Have you thought about that yet?
Actually, so that brings up another point I was going to make. I think I am going to go with the 98s. So just get all of the ones I have left besides defense. I'm just going to get all the ones I have left all at once. So it'll be agility, thieving, Slayer, and Hunter.
Okay.
Because I can feasibly do all of those. And like I can feasibly not train agility until next year. And I can, Slayer's easy, just lamp it. But I'll have to get 99 defense because I don't think that's too stressful for me to leave that at 98. And I kind of want to be max combat.
So the one question I have with that, notably for agility and Slayer, obviously, yes, defense, please push through to 99. Don't like not use the defensive style or like not be able to cast anything on long range. Like, that's too stressful. But what are we going to do about like bingos and shortcuts?
Oh, I'll probably just leave a good margin. I mean, I could feasibly leave like 500k till 99 and be
for what
fine.
Skill?
Agility.
500k, huh?
Yeah. I mean, that gives me enough leeway to then, once I have 98 and all the other ones, say, okay, I'll spend like, 5 or 6 hours training agility to prep for the maxing party.
Yeah. I mean, I know you don't particularly love, like, you're not the PVMer of the duo here, but I am curious. So like, what is 98 Slayer with 10k till the next level gonna look like if you have the itch to do Slayer?
If I have the itch to do, well, I probably just wouldn't do Slayer at that point. That severely limits me on the amount of like PVM content I could do, because I'm not just gonna go and kill like Abbey demons for fun. Yeah, you get the occasional whip.
I've done that before, and it's not fun.
Yeah,
I think Jamie had a bingo like a year ago. It was a pretty neat like solo bingo format, and I killed 1,000 abyssal demons off task. Did not get a whip.
Oh no,
I was having a really, really, really bad time. Trying to get a whip, but
the other thing that I'm trying to keep in mind is I just opened up my goals for this account, and to be completely honest, it said goals for 2022. I just deleted the 2022 and left goals for this account. Not to put a hard stop for this year, because notably one of them is max total. Right next to that, 100 mil cooking XP. I don't know what I was thinking in January of this year, thinking I could get max and 100 mil total. Back then, when I had just got 99 mining. Crazy.
Sometimes putting those ridiculous goals like that for a year are helpful to put that into perspective. This isn't necessarily from Michael. This is more for you, the listener. A little bit for Michael too, but like, would you like to know one of the stretch goals that I have on my page? I would like to get the Grandmaster Combat achievement done for Inferno KC, which is 10 Inferno KC. Now let's look at where we are in the account. It's August 7th. I still don't have an Infernal Cape. I wrote this sheet on probably like December 20th.
Yeah.
So I still don't have an Infernal Cape. and the stretch goal was to get 10 KC by the end of the year. Sometimes you put a goal on there that's like 100 mil cooking XP, or like the Nibbler pet, which is just a ridiculous stretch goal because you can't control that. Like, it kind of puts into perspective what more attainable goals are in the span of a year.
Yeah.
Once you get into the year,
Mhm.
you know, like, of the stretch goals of mine, the Jad transmog is probably not that crazy of a goal because we're getting this cape this year. And then 6 Jads is just going to be a drunken meme fest until we beat it.
Yeah.
You know? But like, so yeah, sometimes you set lofty goals that don't make sense for a year and you look back and go, what was I thinking? And it just helps plan goals in the future.
Some of the ones that I think are obtainable on my list would be like the KBD pet. I could feasibly do a bunch of KBD on the side when I get bored. Ranked in every boss could also, within reason, could also happen. I know that there are bosses on here that I'm just not going to touch this year, notably the Inferno. So
you did it once. You made it to wave 20 something on your first attempt.
Yeah, I mean, I could put Infernal Cape as a goal, but to be fair, I put attempt the Inferno as a goal for this year, which I did. So I attempted it, but I think that more
you
so
gotta
means
attempt it more than once.
like actually attempt it, like actually go for the completion. But yeah, there's some on here that are fine. I mean, there's the option for me to get probably, if I really wanted to work hard, I could probably get like 25 mil cooking XP for the year. And I might start working on that because there's stuff that I want to do.
Shitload of cooking XP.
Right now, it's only 12 million more XP. I mean,
that's like 1 to 94, 90. That's like 1 to 97 cooking.
1 to 97
again. So like, it's no small feat to do.
You can get 900k XP per hour with 1 ticking Karambwans.
You're gonna 1 tick Karambwans for
I just might.
12 hours?
I just might. I just might. Don't tempt me, Oxie. Do it right now.
Right now.
But no, I like overall, I'm excited for my account progression, and I'm also really excited for my account progression on my groupie. I think by the time this episode comes out, I will have my Barrows gloves. So thank you to everybody that came out to the stream. It was pretty hype. I think I had an average of like 15 viewers for that stream, the one I did yesterday, the whole night. So yeah, it's hype. That's a lot of fun.
It was pretty hype. It was a fun stream. It was fun to see all the people out there watching for the Barrows gloves. Mad unfortunate that like circumstances did not allow the gloves to be obtained.
Yeah. It goes back to the whole diaper rash thing with, I normally get to sleep in on Sundays, but I didn't want to risk it because I'm not going to leave my wife to handle that. It's a 2-person job changing his diaper right now. And if that's TMI, I'm so sorry. But that's just dad life, I think. Parenting life. So
I feel like every dad is like, yup. Every dad listening. Because I know we got a lot of dads who listen to the show. I'm sure.
Yeah. So that was rough. But Tuesday, you guys, this is in the past for you guys, but in the future, it's still the future for me. So I'm thinking about streaming on Tuesday night to attempt the final boss fight, because I got a little bored today and did Awogi and Ceramic Vars. So I did those 2 quests. Now I just literally have the fight.
Okay.
And
okay.
Again, this is like, did somebody cast Zone of Truth on me right now? Because I'm about to admit that I have not ever killed the Culminancer. I've always had my friends do it. I didn't have bear gloves on my first account, but on this account that I'm playing on right now, I have not done the final boss fight. So I have no idea what to expect.
Folks, then this is how we hold Michael accountable.
Yep.
When you get to this part in the episode, probably about 25 or so minutes in, head over to the Xpwaste chat and Discord at Michael. Tell him GZ on Barrows gloves. Yes. GZ on your first Barrows gloves.
My first Barrows. It's really,
because that's essentially what this is the first Barrows gloves boss fight.
Like a lot of the quests that I'm going to do on the group Iron Man will be the first ones, because again, I had a friend who I grew up with. I got him into RuneScape. He surpassed me a lot because he just loved this game. I still play to this day. It's on my friends list. We'll message sometimes. But he really, really liked quests. Like, really liked them. And I didn't care for it. I was like, it doesn't bother me that I'm not doing this quest. Now, looking back, do I regret that decision? A little bit. But you can't fault yourself in the past for what you have no control over. You know, I have no control over what I did back then. I did have control over it. That's kind of a weird saying, but I can't change the fact that I didn't do these quests. But a lot of the quests that I'm going to do in my group Iron Man, it'll be for the first time. Like, I've not killed Galvek. So I'm not going to sit here and tell people how to do it because never done it myself. Got somebody else to do it.
We're so excited for that day. We're gonna make like a movie night out of it. We're all gonna hop in VC. The GIM team is gonna get in VC. We're gonna watch Michael do DS2. Notably the boss. But
I did Monkey Madness.
I'm excited for it.
Oh yeah, me too, dude. I did Monkey Madness. I did Song of the Elves, but the Dragon Slayer 2, that's the one I haven't done. And
do you want my advice?
Sure.
Practice on your main account.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, because you
can go to the it's a combat achievement that took me a million years, but you can practice on your main account. I would tell you what happened to me the first time I fought the Cullinoromancer, a word that you cannot pronounce.
It's so hard for me to pronounce that.
I think I was fighting one of the bosses before the Gelatinoth Mother. It was Agrith Nana or something like that. And you can leave in between boss fights and like re-gear and come back.
Okay.
And the plan was to leave and come back and like fully prepare for the Gelatinoth Mother, because there are things about the fight that are different from normal boss fights I'm not going to spoil for you because you haven't done it yet. And as I was going to leave, I had no food and got one banged.
Oh no.
By the Gelatinoth Mother. Now this was back in 2020, before any gravestone mechanic or anything like that. Wiped.
Oh no.
Thousands of death runes, all my mystic, my staff I was using, gone. All just gone because it was in an instance area. Oh, no. And I was like, well,
there goes the account.
Like, it was like, I will never financially recover from this. I think I had to go to the Grand Exchange and buy like 700 death runes.
Oh my god.
With what cash stack I had left. And then like buying Mystic on the Grand Exchange is a lot cheaper than buying it from a store, which why is Blue Mystic 200k for the top and bottom from the Magic Guild? Why? I don't know. But it was a lot cheaper when I think I bought like the blue just because I knew it would be the cheapest. So whatever money I had was then put forward into a new set of gear for a Recipe for Disaster. So
that's insane.
The first time I did RFD was rough in these streets doing RFD the first time. It was real rough.
Can you confirm whether or not they actually have a death mechanic coffer? Like, do they have a coffer now? Okay, good.
Yeah. All instance areas, your things will go to a gravestone.
Oh, a gravestone. Okay, sweet.
I know that because when I did Monkey Madness 2 for the first time, I did it a week after the update. And I got killed by the demonic gorillas. And I had to like take a minute and just like because before the death update, I would have lost my Trident of the Seas. I would have lost my blowpipe. I would have lost my full RMs. I think I brought my whip with me. Like, I brought my full max to fight these demonic gorillas and Gluff. And I would have lost probably 8 mil worth of gear, which at the time was my entire bank of gear. Like, we would not have gotten the quest cape that week.
Wow.
Because there's no way we would have been able to fund anything. We would have lost so much had the death mechanic not been implemented literally the week before I did MM2.
Do you think you would have been more careful though? Because I gotta think that the death mechanic made you.
I was careful.
Okay.
And I got killed because I was not as good of a player as I am now.
Oxie the scrub.
Let's say, holy, the boys that have been around for a long time know what the scrub Oxie is and was like. But yeah, I'm very excited to watch you do Galvek, watch you do Cullinoromancer. I'm hyped for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, at Michael, tell him Jeezy on Barrow's gloves. Jeezy on his first Barrow's gloves. Got to hold him accountable.
It'll happen. And if I can, okay, so this is my plan for that stream. I'll start out with the fight, and then if I have time, I'll send a fire cape attempt. So, Well, we'll see if I can do both in one day.
Okay.
It's exciting. Yeah, I'm more confident now with the fire cape, just because I talked about it last week. We have so many more prayer potions. I have so much better gear. I probably could borrow Blessed Hide from TMD.
Carol's skirt.
Carol's
from
skirt.
Me.
Yeah, there's so much better gear that my predecessors before me can just loan me, because Oxie and TMD both have their fire capes now. So I'm excited, and I'm kind of sad that like Scape and Monkey Waffle aren't playing, because I think they probably would have had their barrels, gloves, and fire capes by now, and I would have been the last one. But I'm not the last one to do it, which I don't know. It makes me glad that I am not the last one, but also I probably would have been if situation had been different with like schedules and stuff. Because I could, if Scape was grinding the group Ironman the way he grinds RuneScape, I guarantee you he would have had like the best in slot melee gear.
Scape would be 2K total blowpipe,
Yes.
surf helm.
Yes.
Like Scape would be popping off
Yes.
if he was in full Scape mode in every sense of the word, full Scape mode. We'd be
left in the dust.
blowing us out of blowing us out of the water. Like TMD has me beat by like 200 total levels. Scape would have me beat by 500 surely. Yeah, but he'll be back someday. He'll be back.
We're hoping. I'm about to hit 1,300 total on my group Ironman, which is hype. So
I'm about to hit 1,400 total on my group Ironman.
Well, I think there's skills I haven't trained. Like I haven't seriously been training Hunter except for like the last 2 weeks. I've just been doing birdhouse runs whenever I think about it. I haven't been seriously training farming. I only trained up to 34 to get a quest done. So like there's things I could be doing for the daily Scape grind that could afford me some combat, or that could afford me some total levels. But it's not a priority for me right now.
I feel it. It reminds me, I'm going to do a farm run on my main. And speaking of Hunter, it's a momentous day, folks. After literally 4,100 hours of playing old school RuneScape on my main account, I finally hit 80 Hunter. And I finally now have base 80s on my main. So Herbivore slaps. I think I put it in Discord that it took me a year and a half to go from 70 to 80 Hunter, and it took me 2 hours to go from 80 to 81 Hunter. Like Irby's good content. Irby's real good content.
Love it.
So excited for that. I'm gonna go do a farm run myself now that you reminded me.
Yeah.
But as much as I love shooting the shit with you and chatting about RuneScape goals, because it sounds cliche at this point, 72 episodes deep, but boy, do we love talking about RuneScape goals. This isn't like an act we put on for the podcast. Like, catch us in a VC and we will talk about this stuff normally for hours. Like, this is just what we really like talking about. But that's not the point of this episode. So this episode, I guess, Michael, will sum it up in like what do we want to call it? Like revisiting the mid-game?
Sure.
Evolving from the mid-game? What is the mid-game?
What is the mid-game?
Like, there's a lot of things that we kind of want to touch on here. And with like, we have 2 accounts that are in the mid-game, but we'll kind of get into, I guess, sort of some of the differences with all of that. So you want to kick us off, Michael? What are we have a list here.
Ooh.
You know this is an important episode. Michael and I got a document we're pulled up, we're looking at here. So what do you kind of want to kick us off with, Michael?
So yeah, we had a phrase in mind for this episode that we kind of want to throw out there. It's just so it's out on the table. How long is too long to be in the mid game? That is the question we're going to tackle this episode. It's a big one. I think a lot of people, I don't know, probably more so internally, like either have had this question or they look at their RuneScape account every single day and they're like, what am I doing? Because I don't know that I'm necessarily at that point in my group Ironman, but I had that same kind of thought, not word for word, but I felt that a lot in 2020 when I picked this game up for reals again. At that point, I was like low 2K total. I think I only had the hard diaries done, and I had 0 bossing experience. So then I meet everybody in TNL, and everybody's a PVM god, and I'm just sitting here like, Cool.
Were we
Learner
though,
raids.
when you met us? Were we?
Yeah. Oh, compared to my like concept and idea of what PVM was, like I keep saying, I'll say this until I die. If it was feasible for me to revert my account back to day one, I would just become a skiller. This like my main account would be a maxed skiller account, level 3. It wouldn't bother me to never have to do PVM in this game. Now, the caveat to that is it is fun. Like it is fun to do PVM with your friends. Solo PVM doesn't scratch the itch for me. And maybe Raids 3 will be super super fun and I'll get really into it, which we'll get more into Raids 3 as the weeks go by. But yeah, it's like I'm not against PVM. I definitely want to put that on the table for everybody who thinks that like I'm anti PVM. I'm not. And I don't like that picture is kind of painted for me to say that like, oh, Michael hates PVM. I don't hate it. It's not my cup of tea all the time. I'll scratch the itch when it pops up, and that's why I've been going back to what we talked about earlier. Like so I've been training Slayer, but for me to like sit down at the computer and go to Hydra, you have to have a task for that. But like,
oh god, I'd love a Hydra task right about now. I'm not gonna lie.
See, and that's the opposite of I did about 6 kills on my Hydra task and just skipped it because I was like, CBA right now. It's not
3 weeks, 30 mil. Ooh.
I mean, the money's nice. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't need money, and that point is proven when I say that I lended Oxie a 3rd age on his account
that I'm currently wearing to do a farm run. I was thieving with the full Fashionscape on, but then I'm like, shit, I probably got to do a farm run. So now I'm doing a fruit tree run with what's it called? With 3rd age and a scythe.
There you go.
Bit inefficient, but who gives a shit?
Really? But yeah, that's me. That's my take on the whole conversation for this evening.
Yeah, so how long is too long to be in the mid game? Something of a scary, surely judgmental sounding question as well. That's one thing I kind of want to diffuse off the rip is like, Michael almost has a max cape. I almost have an infernal cape. When we ask how long is too long to be in the mid game, it's not you're going too slow and need to be better at the game. It is more of like, what do you define as something for yourself? And more meant to be an introspective point, which I suppose Michael and I can transition to here of how long is too long to be in the mid game is a question you really got to ask yourself. I think I may have already briefly mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you define the end of the mid game? I know we talked about this a little bit, but I'm interested to hear your take. How do you define the end of the mid game?
Yeah,
because I think we define it differently, and this is just
bit.
two examples of how this works in our brains, and I guess another example of what we're trying to express to you guys.
Mm-hmm. So for me, the end of the mid game came about when I had my quest cape. I feel like I had like all my hard diaries done, and the idea of seriously going for the elite diaries was a big step, because that's like a lot of skills are in the 90s that you normally wouldn't train just because, like rune crafting, 86 rune crafting, 91 if you don't want to boost, a lot of fishing just for fun.
So much thieving.
So much thieving.
Oh, so much thieving. Oh my god.
So there's a lot of skills that you don't normally have to get that high unless you want to do the diary. So diaries was a big one, because I mean, for me, I got to 93 Slayer, and that probably was the most consistent PVM that I have ever done on this account. The grind from probably low 80s to 93 for the Western provinces of hard diary, I think it is.
Yeah, for Thermi.
Yeah. So that was a lot of play, like player versus monster, as the kids are saying these days. But yeah, the grind for the elite diaries really pushed me into the end game on the skiller side. And we can definitely get into that mentality a little bit later. But yeah, that's the mid game to the end game on my account. What about you?
Which is, I don't want to say wildly different, but pretty significantly different from me, who was like, the first time I felt like I was truly out of the mid game was the first time I went into Chambers as Eric. Yeah, my first Cox was when I was like, man, I'm home free. I made it. I'm out of the mid game. That kind of coincided with like getting better at Vorkath. Getting, holy shit, guys, I got 7 Vorkath KC today. I'm out of the mid game. Look at me. I'm so good. But probably up there with that would have to be Zulrah.
Okay. Like killing Zulrah?
Getting 50 KC. Getting that notification that Zulrah is no longer free to die at.
Oh.
That was for me like, the running joke was like, all right, there goes Oxie's bank. But like at the time, that's probably when I first felt that like I am no longer in the mid game. I'm here. I'm in it. I am a late game, end game player. I'm ranked at Zulrah. Now, mind you, if you could look at my account where it was at that time when I got ranked in Zulrah, wildly different from Michael's definition. I maybe had all the hard diaries done, but there's a strong chance that at that time I was still like, CBA doing Mage Training Arena. But that took me so long only because I needed like the alchemy room for like an hour. And then just like got bored and didn't do it. Like I did it with Scape one night and he was an hour ahead of me. So he got it done. And I was like, all right, cool. Scape's done. Time to do something else. And then just didn't do it for like a year. So I probably didn't have all my hard diaries done. Probably like a fat base 60s, but like not like close to base 70s. Like probably 62 Hunter. No, maybe a little. It was probably had 70 Hunter because I had done Song of the Elves.
Oh, okay.
But like,
yeah, Questcape.
Probably 70 rune crafting. I don't think I had a completed house at the time. Like I probably had Questcape, probably had Firecape, but I don't think I felt like I was ready to be considered in the end game until my first Chambers and like when I thought I had Zulrah down. And I say think because I can do Zulrah with my eyes closed now. I actually kind of want to see what it would be like if I couldn't see Zulrah. I think that would be a fun plugin to like remove the boss for a challenge mode. Like Zulrah no longer pops up. You just have to remember where it would be.
Dude, that would be insane.
Based on its like attacks and rotations. I feel like that's where I'm at with Zulrah, where like I enjoy the boss enough to like I've memorized it to that point. So our definitions of leaving the mid game are very different. Michael brought up a point before we started recording because we asked like, well, what do you think the end of the mid game is? And he's like, I don't know, probably Questcape and base 80s. And I just hit base 80s last Monday. Like I'm playing the account for almost 4,200 hours and I just hit base 80s the other day. So the definition of how long is too long to be in the mid game and when do we leave the mid game is more in that sense, in like the RuneScape numbers sense, we feel it's a personal choice. Does that make sense? Yeah, personal choice. There is one thing that Michael and I agreed on that's a little bit more concrete that I think is kind of interesting to talk about. This is where we get into more like the pushing you guys to do things. It's not a specific in-game achievement that defines the end of the mid-game. The getting out of the mid-game is less about your skill level and more about your game knowledge. Which I'll explain it like this. You're going to get 99 woodcutting or you're going to get 99 fishing. Old classic skills, super easy, kind of rewarding to do, incremental level ups. You can see progress. It's a lot of fun. Now, it's not out of the realm of possibility to go from normal trees to oaks, willows, maples, yews, up to magics and do magics maybe to redwoods or maybe do magics to 99 like they did back in the day. You know, that's not out of the realm of possibility. That's not even necessarily a bad way to go about doing it. But one thing that I would kind of add to leaving the mid game is this understanding that sometimes your time is just as valuable as the GP you might make or the GP you might spend.
Yep.
You know, and this stretches further the later you get in the game, your time becomes more important. But, you know, a game knowledge difference is, well, teak logs are a lot faster because you usually get more teak logs, so you get more XP per hour. So if you look at it like XP per hour versus total actions, you're going to need to cut less magic logs in total. You're probably going to need to cut like 5 times as many teak logs. But the amount of time you're going to be spending cutting teaks is probably a third of what you'd be doing cutting magics. Does that make sense? It's more about knowing the techniques and knowing the quote unquote efficient ways to do things. What do you got to add to this, Michael? Because I'm not trying to sound like, oh, you have to be efficient to leave the mid game. Lord knows efficiency. I don't know how many times you got to say it in the show. Efficiency is not our jam. Michael was yelling at me earlier today because I'm decked out in the finest Third Age, Jad Slayer helm, Scythe of Vitur, thieving this Arty Knight. This man once again says week 108 of asking Oxie to get his Rogue's outfit, and I said no because I think the Rogue's outfit is stupid. I don't like the minigame. I don't want to do it. That's the most inefficient decision I could make because I would probably have made about 500 to 600K more in GP with the Rogue's outfit than I have already. So to call us hyper efficient is not correct.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, game knowledge is huge though. You don't have to be hyper efficient to have game knowledge. I think your example of like the wood cutting is a perfect example to say like, you know, you don't have many options available to you when you're starting this game, but as your repertoire of skill grows, thus your knowledge does too. It should, at least. You've probably done these quests a bunch of times if you started, you know, many accounts, and the path, the most efficient path through the quest grind comes with time. So a funny thing is like you could be essentially in the end game mindset on an account that shouldn't necessarily be defined as in the end game. That's totally Oxie right now. And
I'm pointing to myself. If you're an audio only listener,
yeah,
pointing to myself because man, did I live that life for a long time. Like it happens. Like there's nothing wrong with thinking you're further ahead than where you are, which again is a subjective term. I'm a mid-game skiller and Michael's a mid-game PVMer.
Yeah.
With the methods and the content that we do on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Right? But you can easily flip that around and we're both endgame in what we like to do.
Right. Yeah. It's like a percentage, you know? If you're 75% endgame in skilling, you're pretty much in the endgame. Not to say that, you know, 50-50 mid-gamers are only 50-50. You know, they're, you know what I mean.
That's not to say that there isn't a period of the account where you're in the mid game. We've talked about it before. The 50s blues. Take a shot every time Michael and I say the word mid game in this episode. This is gonna get out of control. But mid 50s, even up to like mid to late 60s, can just be awful. I'm sorry, it can just be awful.
Yeah.
I hate it. I'm doing it on my group Iron Man. And I hate it. I hate it. Yeah. I hate it.
It's a hurdle. With all the stuff that you're used to later in the game, it's definitely a hurdle to get through those earlier levels.
And then on the other side of that, it's a double-edged sword if you're just getting there for the first time. It's a double-edged sword of it's going to be so much nicer once I get over this. But wow, I'm going to look back and think this was so easy. Like mining. I have on my group Iron Man like 63 mining. Oh, the thought of getting to 72 mining is just so horrible. I don't even want to do it. I have no desire to push for 72 mining.
Yeah.
But knowing that, like, I got to 63 mining and it was like 63K till 64. And looking at it from the mindset I have right now, it was like, holy shit, that's like an hour of mining. Like, I was really excited to see that low XP number or low remaining, because the higher you get, the more efficient training you get, the more those numbers go up for your next level.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it kind of works both ways in that, you know, it you don't know how good it can be once the mid game's over, but you're gonna miss how easy it in theory was at the time.
Yeah.
Which isn't to discount if you're struggling through that part of your account, because Jesus God, it's just not
so
fun.
slow.
Even in, like we've said it before, even in leagues, it sucks when you're in the 50s, you know?
Yeah, because it's like stuff is slow. The glimmer of hope that I have is that Jagex is continually improving new player experience, and like we have Guardians of the Rift, which just absolutely changes the game for early game and mid game rune crafting. Like I can confidently say I did not break a sweat getting 58 rune crafting on my group Ironman on an Ironman account. 58 rune crafting.
For context, I think I had to lamp my way to 58 rune crafting on my main account.
Lamps and what is it? Tears of Guthix. That's been the meta.
I lamped in Tears of Guthix my way to probably 60 rune crafting on my main. Like, it was bad.
So now the slow one early game is definitely mining and agility, but there's things that Jagex is putting in the game that is definitely helping out everyone in those early levels. So there's a glimmer of hope.
Yeah. And another point I want to add, just briefly before we move on to the next thing. Every player you see with a max cape, an infernal cape, a Zuck helm, a champion's cape, a diary cape, doesn't matter where they're at in their account. If you look at them and think, holy shit, they're really good at this game, they also were at the point that we are describing. If it's not been obvious the way Michael and I talk about it, and we're pretty end game, so to speak, you know, the amount Michael and I talk about it, everyone goes through this. It's not a bad thing to do, and there's not a set time limit to get through it, because kind of like we said earlier, how long is too long is more up to you.
Yeah. That answers the question, honestly. How long is too long? It's up to you.
Yeah, what element of the mid game do you want to be out of? Because like mid game skills versus mid game PVM are very different. And I think next week we kind of want to talk about the PVM specifically, because as you said before, we get a lot of requests to like talk about when to go to end game PVM or when to start dipping your toes into end game PVM. So we might do that a little bit next week, because Raids 3 is on the horizon. So I think it might be a little fun and a little hopefully motivational to get people to do Raids 3. I'm going to make a statement right now relating to Raids 3. Please don't sell your gear to buy new stuff.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Hold on to it. Doesn't matter if you're bringing RMs and a Trident of the Seas or whatever. Just don't sell it.
Yeah.
Just hold on to it.
Yeah.
If you have money laying around and want to purchase an upgrade like Armadil or Ancestral, and you have other important upgrades, go for it. It's a bad time to buy end game gear because it's all going up, but it's a good time to buy mid game gear because people are dumping it to buy end game gear.
Other people are being stupid.
Just
not you.
Yeah, other people are spending. Not you. Yeah, Michael's exactly right. But this kind of leads to the next point of how will I know when I'm done? How will I know when I'm out? You can't know what you don't know.
Say it again. Say it again for people in the back.
You can't know what you don't know. Do research on what you're doing right now. Look up YouTube videos. When I was coming up in RuneScape, I watched a literal shitload of Theoatrix videos. I mean, I think I watched his entire library between probably October or November of 2019 up until probably June of 2019 or June of 2020. Like, I watched the entire thing. I wanted to know about everything this game had to offer. Some of it felt really far away. Like, 8 hours to complete a void set felt awful, and I probably wasn't ever going to do that.
Oh,
Spoiler
gosh.
alert, I did, and it did take a really long time, but still.
Yeah.
So do research. if you're trying to train a skill, look up how to do it. Rune crafting is a good example. I don't know the meta to do mid to low level rune crafting anymore because Guardians of the Rift is out. So I don't actually know if it's better than lavas or Orania or like lamping your shit. Like I don't know what's better anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I would say Guardians of the Rift is the best because literally you do 2 quests and then you have the level required to do Guardians of the Rift and then it's 100% free. I think literally you need a chisel and some sort of weight reducing gear. But even then, this is in something that Jagex has been putting sneakily into the game. It's like Giant's Foundry has this, Guardians of the Rift has this. Like they just restore your run energy for you after certain things. It's kind of pog that they thought about this because
Mahogany Homes does it.
Yes. Mahogany Homes was the start of Jagex really just giving away run energy for free. So you don't really need Graceful when you're going into Guardians of the Rift anymore. You don't even really need Graceful when you do Mahogany Homes either. But it's
nice to have.
Yeah.
It's nice to have. Don't get us wrong.
But yeah, I think one of the main things that just keep in mind with everything that we're talking about today is you see these people with a max cape, you see these people with a scythe, they have, hundreds of Tob. They went through the mid game at some point. Everybody you see in the game who you're striving to emulate, like they've been through it themselves too. And it's a possibility. Like it's a very real possibility. No, I'm going to re-say that. It is an achievable goal. It's a absolutely achievable goal for you to go from the 50s blues to your first top KC. It just takes having a mindset to do it. Because the thing I hear the most about when people are hesitant to do content is just, well, I don't know how to do it, so I'm just not going to try. And that can be kind of a daunting thing if you don't have people around you or you don't have ways to learn other than, reading a wiki article, which isn't always the easiest, Like, yes.
Yeah, that's we've talked about that before. The wiki is flawed in that let's go look at, for example, a mid-game boss. Let's look up OSRS Sarachnis, and let's go to Sarachnis's page and look at the strategy guide. What's the best in slot to take to Sarachnis, right? Amulet of Torture, Infernal Cape, Scythe of Vitor, Ferocious Gloves, Prims, Azurka Ring, and Dragon Claws are some of the best items to take, right? If you they're not wrong. It's not like bad advice to take that stuff. You're gonna beat the shit out of Sarachnis if that's what you take with you. Like I've brought most of that stuff before, and man, does it slap.
Yeah.
But if you're back in the I just bought my Sarachnis cudgel era, where I think I brought Lord, what would I have brought to kill Sarachnis for the first time? I maybe brought a whip. Maybe I don't even remember because I didn't own a cudgel.
Oh.
I don't remember what I would have brought.
Luckily I had the money for a bludgeon because they weren't too expensive. I think they were
they were like 50 mil back when I started.
Oh. I think at the point I got my bludgeon, it was like 20 something mil. Yeah, it wasn't.
Well, I got my first cudgel when they were 1 mil a piece. So I did my first Sarachnis a long time ago. But I don't remember what I brought with. Maybe a leaf-bladed battle axe?
Oh,
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I don't even remember what I would have brought with me. But it's daunting to look on the wiki and be like, oh, cool, I can never do Sarachnis. I don't have the best in slot gear.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, from the wiki perspective.
I can tell you off of the rip, you don't need any of that shit to kill Sarachnis. You don't need any of that shit to do most of the content in this game. Right? It does make it a lot easier, surely, but you don't need it to do anything. So that's where Michael kind of brings up that good point of find people, ask people This is where I plug the Discord and say, come hang out in TNL. We love helping people do things. We have all sorts of people, ranging from people who are also in the mid game sharing their experiences to Grandmaster Combat Achievement obtainers, just like giving people gear setups for literally anything.
Yeah.
So we love helping people. And if it's not us, I really do recommend finding people.
Mm-hmm.
Ask questions when it is relevant. The thing I see the most in Discord and in the CC is it's a stupid question, but like, oh honey, if the amount of stupid questions I asked got counted, or the amount of stupid things I did without asking got counted. I brought a holy wrench to my first Fight Caves run because I thought I needed it for extra prayer points. Mm-hmm. Not a bad idea, but probably would have been more efficient to just take another prayer pot.
Yeah.
I didn't. That's not something I knew back in the day, right? The way that I'm sure Michael can attest to this too. The way that mine, probably his accounts, progressed, the path of progression, you will probably see a significant spike in efficiency, quote unquote, a spike in progress in the account once we started to meet other people.
Oh yeah.
And this can be said for everyone. We were all there together when it was me, Scape, and Jesse learning how to do Chambers as Eric. Like
it's funny to think about. Jesse.
Funny to think about when learning Chambers of Zarek, which is you do a good solo in 20 minutes, you do that all day long, right? It's weird to think about, but yes, go and meet people, go and ask people questions. Like,
100%.
Even if there are people in public chat, I would never do this because boy, do I hate in-game socialization. But I know Michael would.
Yeah.
Like, talking to people at the GE, how do you feel about that?
It depends on the context, but I mean, I ask people questions all the time.
If you just like shout it out, like, yo, what do I need to take to Barrows?
Oh, 100%. I would either ask that myself or I would try and help somebody if I had time. There was tons of times where I was just literally bank standing in the Grand Exchange, and you see the cute noobs, you feel for them, and they're like, I just got membership, and I'm sitting here with like 200 mil in my account. I'm like, oh, here's a mil. Go and buy yourself, a nice spread of gear and potions and food. So I'll always talk to people no matter what. I think my private chat, my public chat is always on. Unless I'm just really trying to focus, then I'll close them. Like right now, trying to do the podcast, trying to do some herbivore. So I have like my games tab is the one that's turned on. It's like I can't read the clan chat. I'm not reading public chat. But that's just because I don't want to be distracted.
I had to turn public chat off because I have not seen a more homophobic public chat than the last time I was at Wintertodd. These boys in the Splash World CC right now are kind of yikes. But that's neither here nor there. So other than asking in a CC for a specific activity,
the CC, TNL, or hopefully any clan.
Our clan chat is we keep that there is no homophobia in TNL,
right.
And if there is, there's not. That's a one tick ban.
My point was that's the best place to ask is in a clan chat of people that you trust, where there's a good mixture of people of all account builds and all account styles and time played, because sometimes you're out of touch. I haven't trained, for instance, Herblore in a long time. I'm at 13.7 mil. That 700k is probably just raids and cleaning herbs that I get from Slayer and herb runs. So I haven't trained Herblore in a long time. I don't know what the best potion is now. I don't know what the best way to get to.
What's the best
90.
way to do experience, or what's the best way to not like spend a bunch of money?
That
like
too.
I'm in that boat myself. There's all sorts of stuff. Out of touch of like, how many times do we see people being like, "Yo, I haven't played in like 5 years. I hate rune crafting," and we're like, "Oh honey, oh honey, we have something that's gonna blow your mind nowadays." So if you're just getting back into it, or if you're like curious on how to do things and Discord's not your style, ask in game. But regardless, I guess this whole segment that as much as Michael and I wrote down bullet points has felt completely structureless this entire time talking about the mid game. There is no set end goal. It's never too late to like be done with it, or you're never in there for too long.
Mm-hmm.
It is what you define as being done with this part of the game, right? It's okay to jump the gun in some areas. Like I said, my first chambers thinking I was in the end game, looking back, no. But at the time, like, yeah, I got a whip, I got a blowpipe, I got my fancy blue backpack. We're doing chambers.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, yeah, you bring up a good point. Like, you hit a certain point with the gear that you have, it kind of helps you to become more confident. But you can 100% send a chambers run in scuffed gear. Like, to your point, the gear helps, but you don't need it. And that's sometimes where I think people get caught up and hung up is like, oh, I have to have a BCP before I can really start doing PVM. No, I mean, no. A torso is just fine. You're gonna like looking like a noob aside, and I say that with all love and respect, like looking like you are fresh off Tutorial Island aside, it will get the job done. So wear it with pride. Because one day you won't want to wear it. And maybe...
But here's a question. Does it matter if you look like a noob doing content?
No, but that's
absolutely
it's
not.
It's a mindset thing.
Absolutely not. But part of that mindset is, you know, it comes down to like ignorance is bliss. If you don't know you look like a noob, does it actually affect your gameplay?
No.
Like when I was on my Scythe rebuild and I was wearing full Dragon G to Theater of Blood, I knew what I was doing, right? I knew I looked a little ridiculous. But if you don't know that, like, oh, dude, obsidian legs are super cheap and I'll buy those. And like an obsidian plate body is also super cheap because like it's basically in line with a BCP as well. Fighter torso is better, but like this is a lot quicker to get the obsidian plate body, right? Full obsidian with like a Nezi helm, a whip, and one of those circular Tux Zil whatever they are shields,
Obby shield,
right? Like that's Obby shield, yeah. Like, yeah, you look noobier than shit, but like, does it matter? Because that's all gear upgrades right there. Like maybe you're saving for a Fury with like that kind of kit, man. Who knows?
Like hella decked out if it was 2008.
Exactly, yeah. The 2008 drip is not inefficient by any means. It's not bad to look like you're new at the game because you might be new at the game, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Like
even if you have 1,000 hours, that's one thing we didn't actually cover. Now that I say that, like some people want to put a time, like, oh, I have 1,000 hours in this game. Like I should be somewhere, but you may still be in the mid game if you've done a lot of bank standing.
Where? You know, and I'm not asking that question to like oppose you. I'm asking the person who's thinking to themselves, I have 1,000 hours. I should be further along. What's further along?
That's true.
What does further along look like? Is it base 60s, 70s, 80s? Is it diaries? Is it PVM? But what level of PVM? Is it Seracnus Mole Barrows? Is it Vorkath Zulrah Gauntlet? Is it Theater Inferno Chambers? Like where should you be? Right? And this circles back to what we talked about at the beginning of the episode of goal setting, which like set reasonable and sometimes unreasonable goals, just so you have an unobtainable stretch goal of, 10 Inferno KC and mastering Fazani's Nightmare when it was a struggle for you to get 1 KC like 6 months ago. But so yeah, things like just focus on setting goals for yourself, to kind of Michael, I don't know if you have any more to add about this.
I kind of want to go back into the skilling mid game versus PVM mid game because I know we touched on it, but that's a huge thing for me thinking about this whole conversation is like I definitely would still call myself in the mid game mindset wise when it comes to PVM. There's still times where I'm looking up guides on YouTube on how to kill bosses. I think I just got ranked in Thermi. Easy boss to kill, but I just never did it. Like anytime I got a Smoke Devil's task, it just killed the little ones. I was like, I don't really care for Thermi. Now there will become a time when I may be going for collection log items, or I wanted to get knock out a pet or two, and those bosses will become more appealing. But as far as the skilling grinds or the skilling version of the end game, I'm late game, baby. Like maxing is late game skilling. When you're talking about 200 mils and getting past 13 mil XP in every skill to get ranks in the game, like that's late game. You don't go much farther than that. So it's like very, like just a massive contrast to the mindset that I think most people have when it comes to, oh, I'm in the mid game, I haven't done my first chambers yet. Because I think for a lot of people that we talk to, doing a raid and becoming more familiar with bossing is a lot of people's like benchmark for I'm nearing the end of this phase of my account. So for me it wasn't, because I did my first raid in 2018 and I would still call myself in the mid game at this point in the PVM sector. I mean, I'm getting out of it. I wouldn't say I'm in the mid game, because if you look at my ranks for bosses, like I've done 40 something gauntlet. That's not too easy to complete. I've gotten to Hunlif on a corrupted gauntlet. So nearing that end game, I've got to wave 24 in the Inferno. So, and that's literally with the help of my friends. The Beatles said it best.
Which man, we got to do that one over again.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And here's the thing: the mid-game PVMer, as Michael describes himself as, made it to wave 20 something in the Inferno, lost every pillar by like wave 16.
Yeah,
which like
that was just knowledge.
If you know Inferno, that's the run is pretty fucked at that point, right? But it is right. It is with the help of people, and it is with, I guess, like that was more of like a meme thing anyway. It wasn't like a serious attempt. So sometimes you're farther along than you give yourself credit for. Michael lazy flicked the Ranger. Michael blob flicked first blob that came out. Once he got in cycle, hardly gave him any issues. Right? So complex pieces of the Inferno, Michael, the mid-game PVMer, quote unquote, has down. Other things like pathing, supply management, enemy management, things like that, we got to work on a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But to sometimes to Michael's point of like, I'm a mid-game PVMer, you're further along than you think you are, or you give yourself credit for.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's the.
And here's a question for you. Right? You consider yourself late to end game for skilling. You don't do a lot of tick manipulation methods.
Yeah,
it's very seldom that you get the best XP per hour other than construction, which was insane. I don't know, Michael, when Michael's going for 99 construction, I think it's pre-podcast.
Oh, for sure.
Michael he would leave VC and just like not talk to anybody. He would be off the grid for like 40 minutes. And then send a screenshot of like estimated XP per hour 870k from construction. Because this man would be like, the dude who's like shaking doing the speed run, like his whole desk. That was Michael doing gnome benches. Like, I don't know how you maintained that for even like an hour at a time. Because that's, if I remember correctly, you would do it for like 30 minutes to an hour and then like completely go train a different skill.
Well, I was watching TV, to be honest with you. Like I was trying to.
You were focusing on something else?
So I have two monitors. I have this monitor and I have that one. So to my left was Avatar: The Last Airbender, Legends of Korra, whatever. And on my main monitor, I was doing gnome benches. And like the rhythm that you get into, it's not terribly hard. It's just a rhythm. So yeah.
But it's a fast rhythm.
It's a fast rhythm, yeah.
It's not like a click, wait, click, wait. Michael was like teaching me how to do it one day. I think I did it for like 10 minutes and was like, nah, dog, this ain't it. So you've not done a lot of tick manipulation. And even so, construction isn't tick manipulation. It was just really sweaty.
Yeah.
Do you consider the ability to tick manipulate for skills a necessity to be a late to end game skiller?
No. Like, I wouldn't call being the most efficient in skilling a qualification to be a late game skiller. Because we talked about it. It's like it's not about your skills in the game. It's about your knowledge and your experiences. So yeah, it helps, but at the end of the day, it's a personal preference. Like, how long do you want to spend doing this? I guess what, 3-tick barbfish? Could have done the faster version of barb fishing, but to me, that was something I was doing while we were watching TV or while I was at work. So it wasn't about getting it done quickly. It was just about doing the skill in general.
And that's another good point of the mindset of there is a significant difference between 3-tick barb fishing, 2-tick teaks versus AFK barb fishing and AFK teaks is somewhere like Priff.
Yeah.
Significant difference. But knowing that barb fishing and teak trees are faster XP per hour than magic logs and sharks, or magic logs and mantas or monkfish. You can't even catch monkfish, or like anglerfish, for examples. I say you can't catch monkfish, can't catch mantas without fishing trawler. Holy shit, fishing trawler is bad XP per hour.
Don't do it.
Don't do that for XP per hour.
That's like
might be fun to
Volcano.
get 99 fishing on trawler. I think that might be fun to get 99 fishing right off the trawler on like the mass roll. That might be fun and stupid to do with the boys. But knowing that difference kind of is what Michael and I are trying to get to. You might not have to be the most efficient or the best at it, because 3-ticking is hard. I've done 3-tick barb fishing. It's hard. I've tried to 2-tick teaks. It's hard.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a mindset. Like, I didn't touch granite whatsoever when I was doing mining.
No thanks, dude.
I would much rather have done VM, volcanic mine, and motherlode mine than to be in the desert sweating, both metaphorically and physically.
Yeah, in every sense of the word. Yeah, sweating in the desert.
Yeah.
But yeah, ask people for help. Ask questions on anything. Ask questions on YouTube. Best hunter XP in OSRS. Best bosses to kill at 80 combat. Best money makers after I get my quest cape. Because they'll be able to answer those questions for you. The wiki is far and away one of the best sources for information out there. Its fault is that it can be a little daunting. The one fault I would say with the wiki is it plays off of the efficiency scape. I have infinite money and infinite talent to do this boss, because if we go back to Sarachnis, right? The money gap and the skill gap that the best in slot gear is listed versus what you actually need, both financially and skill, for Sarachnis, vastly different. The Infernal Cape alone is like bringing a U.S. battleship to a game of like airsoft.
Sure.
Like, you're gonna AC-130 your friends in an airsoft game. Like, that is what the skill level of having an Infernal Cape is. The money of owning and being able to charge a scythe to bring to Sarachnis is very different if you're going there to make money. So that's where the wiki, I think, is faulted.
Yeah.
But not in such a way that you shouldn't use it, because holy shit, is it really useful for telling you how to kill Sarachnis. It'll break down the attacks and the different, what the animations look like and what to do about the little minions. Like, what are your stats? What should you aim for? To ignore the minions entirely, or do you kill them? Like, the wiki is beautiful for telling you how to fight it, but don't get discouraged if you don't have the first row or the first 3 rows worth of gear for any given boss.
To this very day, I go to the wiki, I look at the gear, and I just like it zigzags with what I have and what I care to bring. Like you don't have to have, and if you've been to the wiki, you know what we're saying. Like it essentially goes best to worst, left to right, most efficient to this will get you by. So if you're looking at the row and it says Infernal Cape, Fire Cape, Arty Cape, or Myth Cape, but you don't have any of the top 3, take what you got. And maybe you do have a far left option. Maybe you could afford some baller gear. Why? I don't know why you would have that baller gear without a Fire Cape, but that's a totally different conversation. So
yeah, that's Michael and Oxie pushing people in the mid game. This is more
there's a difference.
definitions and confidence. That's next week when we're forcing you guys to do things. Yeah. But yeah, it really comes down to doing your research. Like we said, you can't know what you don't know. Don't be afraid to ask questions and learn things. I wanna know. Can you show me? Like just ask questions.
Somebody make that a
This really has been this really has been the most unstructured structure we've ever put forward in an episode in recent months, I feel like.
Yeah. Hopefully you followed it out there.
I hope so too. I hope we came off as coherent, because I'd like to think we're qualified with what we're trying to say, but I hope we were able to present it in such a way that you're not like, the f*** are they talking about? I don't know.
People are gonna flame me for saying that I'm in the mid game PVM.
Honest to God, all right, I'll counter that a little bit, right? I have the credentials to call myself a good PVMer. I'm good at PVM. I literally got up, took a shower, left my house, came back, turned my PC off, and said, you know what? I only have 120k till my hunter level. I'll just do it tomorrow. I just got done saying, like, a little bit of XP is a lot easier for me to push through. 150k and less, I'm going to get the level today. Like, that's where I'm at with XP. But I am not a
skiller.
The hunter XP was such a hill for me to climb that I literally was like, I'm going to procrastinate this in any way I can. I've not procrastinated a skill that hard since rune crafting.
Oh, damn.
Like, so to counteract Michael's mid-game PVMer, I guess you can call me a mid-game skiller because, man, I just do not give a shit about some skills.
It's fine.
It's
fine. It's totally fine.
That said, 80 Hunter, life-changing. You will never... I might not even do birdhouse runs anymore. I might just only do herbivore for the rest of my life.
Ridiculous.
Life-changing. Life-changing, Michael. Life-changing.
I've gotten 125k Hunter XP since I switched over. Couldn't tell you how long. Actually, exactly 1 hour. Because I've got 125k an hour on the tracker. So I would have had your Hunter level by now.
Yeah, you would have a couple days ago, 100%. Like,
oh, that was a couple days ago.
I don't know. Yeah, well, this was going from 79 to 80.
Oh, I see.
With black chins. Like, it wasn't a method I was happy doing.
Gotcha.
Black chins are so boring after a while.
Mm-hmm. I never did a single hunt. I've never hunted black chins at all.
I have. Come at me. I got PK'd for the first time at level 79 with like 40k XP left.
Oh, damn.
I made it from 73 to 79 without ever getting killed because, like, y'all got to up your game out there. If you don't hit me with the teleblock like that, it's over. I'm out. You're not going to catch me. This dude hit me with the teleblock, hit me with the meanest bolt spec I've ever seen, and then hit me for a 67 AGS. Like, damn. Sometimes you just get beat. I'll talk all the shit in the world for someone trying to kill me, but, like, sometimes you just get beat. I don't know, but
it's time, I think.
I think it is time to go to break. Keep on the mid game. Set yourself some goals. Ask some questions. There are no stupid questions.
None.
And enjoy it while you're there because it doesn't get worse. I can assure you, nothing gets worse than being in the mid game. It just gets difficult in different ways.
Yeah.
So
that's a good way to put it.
You guys got this. Surely. We'll see you after the break.
How you doing, you bastards? My name's Fortunado. I work out of Draenor Village. I sell the best wine in the whole damn continent. Not in Draenor, not in Misthalin, not in Gillinor, the whole world. I sell the best wine in the whole damn world. People tell you, you're gonna buy wine for cheaper on the Grand Exchange. They lying to you. That's juice. That's juice. The best wine comes from me. Huh? The pirates, they buy my wine. Them freaks with the hats over there in Zia, they buy my wine. Okay? You gotta come over here, you gotta buy my wine. At Fortunado's, we don't waste nothing. Very rarely do I have wine that go off because it's so good as far as flying off the shelves. When it do go off though, the vinegar, we're gonna sell that too. I hear there's some old man just east of Iraq or something like that. He wants vinegar. I don't care why. In this business, you don't ask no questions. You're hearing this ad, you're thinking to yourself, you're like, oh, I got some buddies who make wine, I could do that too. You wanna be a tough guy? Huh? You wanna be a tough guy? Make your own wine? Try to outsell Fortunato? Yeah, sure, whatever. I dare you. I dare you to outsell me. In fact, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a head start, okay? Come over to my place, I'll sell you some jugs. They can be full of water, they can be empty, I don't care. Not even your girlfriend at the Grand Exchange has better jugs than me. I get these bitches by the gross. I'll sell you as many as you want. You can make all the wine that you want. It's not gonna be better than me. Come swing by Draenor Village, swing by my wine stand, have a good drink, and leave feeling good, okay? I promise you, you're not gonna find any better wine anywhere else.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that commercial because I know I sure did. One of these days, we're going to make you guys a new commercial. Maybe this was a new commercial. Depends on how frisky Michael's feeling this week. Or depends on how frisky I'm feeling this week. Who knows, man? Who knows? But either way, you guys deserve new commercials. Have I already been planning new stuff for October because Halloween's my favorite holiday? Yes. Is that still 2 months away? Yes. So, y'all know what time it is, though. The commercial is over. That means it is time to shout out the lovely folks who support us over on Patreon. So, starting with the Wise Old Man tier, we have Scape Caution, Elagio, Bolimer, Basket, Benjamin R., Pork Jerry, Bloodman, aka Young Kyle, Hadadbod, C. Gladney, Morty, Creamed Ham, Drum TXT, Duke Bradley, D. Falconer, Flyin' Castiel, Forestry, Fortimus, Francine 1225, Jack M, Jake W, Jerry, Jordy, Potato Pancake, Posh Padre, Magmorpheus, Mima 999999, Ninja Turtle Ubi,
Ninja Turtle Ruby.
Ninja Turtle Ruby. I can't read. I thought that said Turtler because I have not done Patreon in probably 5 weeks. Not a hippo, then what are you? Obsidian Paladin, Okami Damashi, Pine Martin 709, who I think may be one of our newest members. Welcome, welcome. Poorly Hung, aka Ice Swallow, Russ of Fury, Salted Snake, Soggy Waffles, Skillaxin, Sholdveg, Solaire OS, which I called Solaris for probably way longer than I needed to when I saw your name in the CC. Sweet and Tangy, the Chungaroo, T-Pace, Valdon, and Zach without a K. At least I think that's Zach without a K because there's no K in the name. It really has been a long time since I have done this. So
Bravo.
You guys haven't heard me stumble through most of these names, but trust me, we're stumbling. Here's one I won't stumble on. My dad. Hi, Dad. Because now we're in the KBD tier of the next tier up. The King Black Dragon. God, I don't miss doing this. Anyways, hi, Dad. GIM Stones, Kroll, the Lord Jake himself, our third favorite supporter, Ralph, Rylithian, Spartan Fire, and Toast No Toast. Thank you all very much for your support on Patreon at any tier, whether it's a tier that got shouted out today or one of our other tiers we have. We do appreciate you being able to support the show and being willing to give a little bit extra to content that we hope you guys enjoy. We have read the survey, and one of the biggest things that we saw consistently from one of the questions, I think we asked, how's the video quality? Pretty consistently, people asked, it's good, but Oxie's autofocus sometimes turns him into like 480p. And it's true. My current camera does not like autofocusing sometimes, so I'm extremely blurry on the YouTube version. Your support from Patreon, we think, is going to help that. We think. We're looking at various cameras. We're still trying to vibe with the whole YouTube thing, so we're not entirely sure. We'll get to YouTube in a second, but if you are interested in joining the Patreon, I know Michael is going to say that we have a goal, because we do. We have a goal of reaching 150 patrons, in which I will fly out to Texas to see Michael get a mostly matching Xpwaste themed tattoo, and then do an episode live from Michael's house, in which I will play the slot machine until I win or until the slot machine breaks. That's behind him. For all you YouTube supporters out there, head over to patreon.com/XPWaste to support us at whatever tier you feel comfortable with. Speaking of YouTube, massive milestone achievement has finally been hit.
Yeah.
I know we normally don't talk about YouTube until we get to the community question, but yesterday during Michael's stream, the Xpwaste podcast YouTube channel finally hit 1,000 subscribers. So we're going to be open to monetization. Woo! We might start doing streams on there from Xpwaste.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe we'll get like a special monthly stream. We'll have to find a way to set that up so that we can have both our cameras on there. Michael and I aren't that good at streaming with like multiple cameras. Like we don't know how to do that necessarily. And we've both never streamed on YouTube before.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of things we still have to learn, but we're super excited about that. And because we hit 1,000, as we said before, new camera is mad potential on the way. So if you are a YouTube stan and you do watch our videos, I know we've seen pictures of some people, some of you XP wasters will put us up on TV and we'll be like on the big screen when the new episode comes out. That makes me smile so much to wake up and get a notification at like 7:30 in the morning that someone's got our faces up on TV.
Yeah.
Like, that's good shit. So hopefully I'll be a little clearer in the near future when it comes to that. So I think as far as financial promotions, that part is done, because if you're not new around here, we all know that that's my most favorite part of the show, is thanking you guys for supporting us on whichever platform. I think I've covered all our bases without Michael having to go back and add anything. So I think it's time for the community question.
Look at you. It is time for the community question.
God, I'm so good at podcasting, guys.
You need to visit patreon.com/
I already said it. Patreon.com/XPWaste. Don't think I didn't say. Yeah, I zone out when you do it too. Don't worry. Normally, I'm looking for the achievement of the week when you're doing the Patreon. God, we're so professional. Holy.
Sorry. Herbivore's got me zoned out.
But I'll say, Herbivore has got Michael in a whole different mindset now. But snap back to reality for you, snap out of reality for me, because I got to find achievements of the week, and you have to read our community questions, sir. Take it away.
So last week we asked you guys, are you excited for the new client features they're adding to the C++ client and mobile? Starting out with Adam, they said, I can't live without my Quest Helper plugin. Sorry, I'm a noob. So I'm assuming that means they're not excited for the new features. But, RuneLite has them, so you're good there. Miguel says, the order they release the features is slightly strange. Clue Scroll Helper before item charges and ground items? Either way, I think it's great to see mobile become closer to RuneLite experience.
That's what I'm saying.
We should have had all those way before. Jacob M says, yes, mobile deserves the same features. And on the Clue Helper not being fair, I'd trade Sherlock help for Puzzle Solver any day. Slide puzzles can solve it.
Hold on. Are they saying the slide puzzles don't have a helper?
Oh, for the Clue Scroll?
But Clue Scroll helpers? What?
Did I hear that correctly? I'd have to experience that, because that's like an integral part of Clue Scroll Helper is the solving of those puzzles.
If they didn't add the slide puzzle helper, what's the point of? All right, whatever. Keep going. Now I'm salty about the plugin. Whatever. I haven't even tested it, but I'm mad about it. I don't know.
Mockcat says, I came back to RuneScape when mobile first launched. I had been away since just after summoning from Rs3. Mainly play mobile because it's what I have time for. On the rare occasion, I'll jump on RuneLite. So I would assume that they're saying they're excited for that one. And finally, on Spotify, we have our boy Mima. He says, I did Ape Course on mobile and thought about messaging Mod Ash for the hitboxes. I did Herbivore and was turned off a few times for not having the highlights, and now I can continue my grind, loving the changes. It's very, very, very pertinent, because I think that goes back to what I said about Herbivore specifically, was I didn't want to get used to Herbivore without like the highlights. But this entire time, while I've been recording, I turned back on the highlights just because now, whatever client I use, Herbivore is going to have the little helper plugin, so why not? And now transitioning to our YouTube replies. Same question we asked you. Alex says, not really. I'm pretty happy with RuneLite and would rather support the creator there. He spent hundreds, if not thousands of hours creating the client, and it's not only free to download, but it also completely changes the experience of the game. It's very true. I'm also pretty frustrated between the drama that Jagex had with RuneLite, specifically Jagex's response to the beta release of the HD plugin. Player-created content for PC games, i.e. modding, is very common, and it's cool to see how creative players can be. You don't see Bethesda trying to shut down the Thomas the Tank Engine mod in Skyrim, for example. The idea that...
Why you would ever try is beyond me. You ever seen that mod in action?
I have not.
That shit is good. Dude, look it up. That shit, when they mod Thomas the Tank Engine over Alduin and that first opening sequence of Skyrim, oh my God, that's good content right
That's
there. Look it
funny.
up after this. It's funny.
I will. They continue, the idea that Jagex is threatened and is trying to compete with player-created content is pathetic and sad. I would like to see Jagex be more supportive of RuneLite and applaud the creators' efforts. Sadly, I don't think this will ever happen. At the very least, give RuneLite some credit because they clearly are the inspiration of many of the new features in the Jagex client. Alex L., I could not have said it better.
Say it with your chest. God damn.
Eyewitness says, I don't believe I'll ever stray away from using RuneLite no matter what Jagex does to their launcher. However, I really do enjoy the mobile updates and features. I play a lot at work, and since I work nights sitting at the desk, and the quality of life updates make it to where it doesn't feel like a completely different game when I'm not on RuneLite. Also, could not have said it better. For so long, before, what was it, June of this year? June of 2022. Mobile came out in 2018. So for 4 years.
What was it? Was it 2018?
Yes. For 4 years.
Holy shit. Oh my God.
People who played on mobile, people who only played on mobile were forced to play vanilla RuneScape. And that's just ridiculous. I'm glad that now they're fast tracking these updates. So it's gotten to a point where it's not vanilla anymore, which is great, but it took way too long. And lastly, on YouTube, Jordy says, I haven't played on mobile in a while. I have heard it's a major improvement over what it was before, which is good. Can't judge the mobile client, but to me, they just need to scrap their own client on PC and focus on more important stuff in the game than a client that needs to compete with RuneLite to get attention. Hot take, but I absolutely am here for it.
That is something of a hot take. I can't see them ever scrapping the vanilla client. Like we said last week, there's nothing wrong with improvements to the vanilla client.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it'll shift a lot of the player base, but at the same time, after our discussions last week, I don't think that's the point.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a let's help new players until they get to RuneLite,
Right,
basically.
right. It's a waiting room. I'll give them that. And I think they know that. You know, when somebody searches old school RuneScape, yes, RuneLite is on the main page, but when you click on new account, it doesn't prompt you to download RuneLite. It prompts you to download the Jagex client or go to Steam.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know which one it does, but that's going to be a brand new player's first kind of introduction into the game, unless you have a friend that tells you, hey, play this game, and while you're at it, start on RuneLite, because that's what I did with my friend that I'm trying to get to play the game. So yeah, it just goes back to new players, I think. Giving them the quality of life that's going to keep them playing, because yes, you have so many updates to this game, it's no longer 2007 Scape. It's no longer old school RuneScape. But it is when you think about the way that the vanilla client functions and just the experience that you have. That's pretty much like 2007.
Yeah.
So that is it for our community question answers. Guys, thank you so much for answering those on Spotify and YouTube. If you'd like to answer this week's question, it will be,
when did you know you were out of the mid game? Or when will you know? What's your goal to get out of the mid game? If you don't think you're out of there already.
Yeah, it's good.
Tell us your stories.
Thank you, Oxie. Appreciate that. You heard the man. Answer down in the YouTube pinned comment or on the community questions section on Spotify. That is it. Over to you, Oxie.
Thank you. It is over to me, of course, because it's Achievement of the Week time, ladies and gentlemen. We had a lot of super cool stuff happening this week. As far as like the achievement cape stuff, quote unquote, like quest capes, I don't think we actually have a whole lot of that. I think we have one. I lied. I do believe we have one quest cape that was today, maybe? I think it may have been today. Hoof-hearted completed Sins of the Father, and you can see in the screenshot with like the congratulations, you've completed the quest. It says 290 out of 290 on the bottom for quest points. So he's done it. He's got his quest cape. From what I'm seeing here, though, that might be it. And I don't want to be like, hey, I'm trying to snuff people out, but I'm just not really seeing a ton of these this week, which is okay. So we got people got some graceful sets, angler sets. People got torsos. People are pushing. The skilling this week is once again popping off. This week led by Shadowblade again. This has got to be the second or third week he's up there. He's like, F it, max cape in 2 weeks. He's rolling. So Shadow got 99 smithing. Congratulations, Shadow. Just today, like while we were recording the podcast, I want to say Beat Babe got 99 was it 99 hit points? I'm scrolling up in the CC to see if I can find it. Yeah, Beep Jr., his account, got 99 HP and 1,000 slugs. Or is it 1,000 or is it 10,000? 10,000. That's a lot of slugs. Got 99 thieving while we were at the break of the podcast. So the 99s don't end there. Shaq Snag got 99 hit points at Hydra today. And capping off the skilling portion of this achievement of the week, we have Doombar, who did 2 birds with 1 stone. Got 99 Slayer and 99 Magic at Duradel. Looks like there's a pretty solid crowd of folks there, too. Disappointed I was not able to be online for that. But congratulations to you for the old double kill 99. Combat achievements. Ooh, it's a big week for combat achievements for people, literally. To kick things off, we do have some firsts. We all know we love some firsts. We have, I want to say it was Valeric, got both a first fire cape and a first Zulrah kill this week, if I'm not mistaken. So 2 firsts just in the book, in the books. Easy. I am not entirely sure if I'm pronouncing this name correctly because I feel like it's been pronounced differently in my presence. Baxilai. Baxil? I'm not sure. Michael's laughing because he knows I said it wrong. Baxley. Damn it, it is Baxley. Every time I get it wrong, I'm so sorry.
The word I.
I read it as Baxilai every time. I'm sorry, but he got his first fire kit this week as well. Moving on, we have Gibson, friend, got the hard combat achievement diary done.
Wow.
So unlimited teleports to God Wars, which is pretty hype. In the vein of combat achievement diaries as well, dear friend Jamie finally got the elite combat tier done. So we have another Jad Slayer helm enjoyer in TNL. I don't know how many of us that makes, but it's not many. So congratulations to you, Jamie, for getting that. Awesome. The big one this week, folks. The big one we've been saving. That I don't want to say best for last to downplay anybody else's, but like the most hype for last. Dazman, good friend of ours over in TNL, got his first Infernal Cape this week.
Hell yeah!
Congratulations to you, Daz. It's in his little clan chat that he received the new collection log item, Infernal Cape.
Love it.
It's popped up. I know very well just how difficult that is to do without ever having gotten a cape myself. Like, that's huge.
Mhm.
Congratulations, Daz. And congratulations to everyone who achieved something this week. Whether or not you got shouted out, we really do love hearing about all the awesome things you guys do in game. And where do you go if you want to talk about something awesome that you did? That's right. It's our Discord and the Levels and Achievements channel, or any of the other like 50 channels we have to put things in, because we love seeing how you guys are progressing throughout your accounts. Just like we talked about account progression with this episode specifically, looks different for everyone, and people classify things differently. In the last couple of days, we've had people post that they have gotten to Zuck in both Levels and Achievements and in our Planks and Keck W's channel, which is normally where people go to like, hey, look, I messed this thing up. Haha, it's funny because I'm dumb. It's just fun to see where people like gauge themselves. So come join us in Discord, hang out, keep doing things that are awesome, and we love shouting people out. This was another example of, thank God we edit these podcasts, because that awesome segment you just heard was not recorded awesomely. Michael and I have devised that we might need to start like doing a little bit of pre-podcast prep with the achievement of the week, just to make it go a little bit more smoothly for editing. But either way, you guys are awesome. Congratulations on all the things you have done this week and will do in future weeks. Michael,
Yo,
it's a fun question.
It is. I shudder to think about how doing any of these shout out segments live would ever feel like.
You guys are gonna see if we ever do a live podcast episode, and you can like watch us on YouTube or Twitch or whatever, or maybe we get so popular we have our own panel at RuneFest. No big deal. You guys are gonna hear what the process is like. I can't wait for you guys to be like in it with us as well. The recording booth Jack can attest, it is not always as clean as the editing may seem, but either way, it's like we said last week, it's worth it.
Yeah, totally. So, all right, guys, it is the fun question time for this episode. So we're caught up on all of the non-Oxie postcards, so I want to get to...
Did you ever get any more?
I haven't. I regret to say I did not go to the P.O. box this week.
Damn it, Mike.
I know. The whole diaper
I forgot to remind you too, so
threw me off. So
yeah,
I would have gone today.
I also forgot I sent postcards. So what are you gonna do?
We'll get them next week. Boys. But
I sure hope so, because it would have been 3 weeks ago by the time next week's podcast comes out.
Well, to be fair, we sent out Christmas cards, and Damien in Australia did not get his until March. We sent them in December.
International shipping.
It's insane. Why is it just sitting in like a shipping container somewhere? No priority on when it gets there? Come on now.
Maybe.
What if I had a secret code to a safe and it was his...
You would probably pay more for priority shipping.
Yes, you're right, Oxie.
Realist. Or you would text it to them.
That's very true. This isn't horse and buggy, though. That's all I'm saying. All right, so I want to read this fun question from this postcard because I thought it was funny.
The long postcard.
The long one. It says, fun question. Which OSRS city would be the most beautiful IRL? That came straight from Oxie's brain. So hopefully he forgot he asked it and he's going to give us...
I did. I thought it was a different fun question. So this is new to me too.
Yeah. He's not going to have anything well prepared whatsoever. So, Oxie.
Didn't have anything prepared when I wrote the question either. So here.
I know both of us are going to say Hosidius. So I just want to take that off the table right off the bat.
Easy. Okay.
And let's just get creative and just take all of Zaya off the table. How about that?
All right.
Perfect. Oxie, what do you think?
What do I think the most beautiful city to like explore would be, or the funnest one to? I guess what are we
is
talking
that how you're
here?
going?
I asked the fun question. Is it like
what's the
we're
most
exploring the city,
I don't
we're
know.
staying in the
Like,
city, we're living in the city?
If you were a tourist in RuneScape, I guess, and somebody was like, "Man, the views from this city, or like the architecture in this city, you got to go there." It's just like if that's what you're into.
We're going on a rune tour.
Rune
Okay, we're going on a rune tour. Rune tour. All right. So probably, I mean, if I'm a tourist and I'm looking for a lot of things to do in a city,
Mhm.
I'm probably gonna think like East Ardoyan.
Yeah. Yeah.
The flip side of that is like
It's pretty drab.
Ardoyan is literally built on a lie. Like the cities are divided. It's built on a lie. So like realistically, right? What are we gonna see in these cities if we go to a city like East Ardoyan?
Yeah.
Right? If we look at like real world cities and real world history, are we gonna see a lot of like gentrification, propaganda? Are we going to see a lot of like facades of like things that look beautiful until you peel back the curtain and realize like, oh God, this is not, because again, Ardoyan is led by a corrupt maniac who's getting played by another maniac on the other side of the mountains. Like, I don't know. I think as far as like, I'm a tourist, I want things to do. Artie's got the zoo. Artie's got the palace, which normally you can tour palaces.
Yeah. The market.
Artie's got the mansion, the clock tower, the market, the church. It's got the farmlands over. Maybe there's like a nice wine tasting out there. Witch Haven's not too far away. Maybe you can enjoy some fishing.
Yeah.
Maybe you can visit the Tower of Life, or perhaps the monastery is a Vatican-esque vibe. So there's a lot of cool things you could do. We're going to ignore the fact that there's a battlefield just outside of Ardoyan. So, you know, that notwithstanding, right? I think as far as being a tourist, having been a tourist in a lot of like big capital cities, mine I think has to be Artie.
Mhm.
But Meg, Morpheus brings up a good point. What city isn't built on a lie, specifically in RuneScape?
Yeah.
Like, find a city that doesn't have
Corruption.
or
Lumbridge.
a
Well,
war or some sort of
Duke's
like
not-
problem in it.
Duke.
Like, the Duke is a moron, and then you've got Sigmund,
Oh.
who's like, hey, let's
Racism.
be racist, but worse.
Terrible,
Like,
dude.
let's take it to the next level and just wipe out anything that isn't
Oh
a
my
human.
gosh.
Like, you know?
I agree with
So
you.
I think I'd have to say East Artie. So
It's funny that you say East Artie specifically and not just Artie in general, because I don't know that like it's very accurate, because I don't think anybody's going to West Artie right now, unless Jagex somehow puts into development the idea straight from the show where there's an endgame quest where you revitalize West Artie to be the city it always could have been. It's more of like, when you're thinking about the city itself, there's not a lot of homes in East Ardoyan, but it looks like a lot of people used to live in West Artie.
yeah.
So
I mean,
it'd be like the
I feel
neighborhood
like
district.
if I'm going to Ardoyan, I'm probably going to East Artie as a tourist, and I'm probably going to West Artie for a different reason. I'm either going as like, you know, maybe I took a different path and was like, yeah, I love medicine. I'm going to continue that from undergrad. And maybe I'm going as like medical help for the plague, quote unquote. Or maybe I'm going on like humanitarian effort to like rebuild the city because the people have it back.
Yeah.
They aren't like plague victims walking around. Still zombies, which is weird. But you know, people aren't like quote unquote afflicted anymore in West Ardoyan. So maybe it's like a rebuild effort. Like, I'm not going to West Artie to be some gawky tourist, right? Or maybe West Ardoyan will have like a monument or a memorial that we'll want to see, kind of like how they did in Berlin with the, you know, whether they had the Holocaust memorial or they had the topography of terror monument information memorial they had underneath the Berlin Wall. So maybe there'll be something like that in West Artie I would go see as a tourist, but I feel like I'm going to West Artie for a different reason than to be a kitschy tourist.
You can have your tourist moments, but then the real work starts.
Yeah.
If you grew up in the Christian society, they call that a mission trip.
No, oh boy, those.
Is it my turn now?
It is your turn, yes, because that's not a. We're not gonna go down that
I'm
road.
absolutely surprised that you didn't say what I'm about to say. The Elven Land
like I know
of
what you're about to say.
Prifddinas.
Yo, I was not expecting you to say that.
You
Okay.
thought I was going to say Catherby.
I thought you were gonna say Falador.
Falador is like, yeah, sure. But no, Prifddinas, getting back to my original point. Absolutely gorgeous. One of the like most recent updates to RuneScape, city-wise, that we've had in a long time, besides like the Zaya rework and Fossil Island, all the new continents. We got access to Prif. And I don't know if you've seen Prif in RS3, but it's as equally as beautiful. Just like all of the crystals everywhere, all of the neat looking trees, everything is within walking distance. So as a tourist, I think it's one of those cities that like you go there and it has everything. Like as an account, if you could somehow going back to like playing RuneScape, if you could make an account that was Prifddinas locked, like once you actually get to Song of the Elves, you only do quests that pertain to getting to Song of the Elves, you only train skills, and then you just stay in Prif, I think that would be a very fun account build. But as a tourist, it's a beautiful place. I haven't done much in the way of actually being a tourist in the world. I don't go out much. I haven't actually left the country of the United States. So being a tourist is not something that I don't have a ton of experience with it, but I think it would be a lot of fun. I think Prifddinas is probably like the New York City equivalent of RuneScape. Everybody wants to go there. You have a lot to do. It's big. It's beautiful.
I was gonna say, for me, it feels completely the opposite.
Oh,
right. Not that I don't want to go, but like it seems like a beautiful city, surely. But let's use your New York City example. I don't think it gives New York City vibes.
Well, I just think New York City vibes in the sense that it's like it's big, it's beautiful, and everybody wants to go.
Well, yes, in that sense, yes. But like, I've been a few places. I'm not like a world traveler, but I've been to Europe a couple times. I've seen lots of capital cities. Been all over some countries. A city like London, or a city like Rome, where you know the language, everything seems kind of familiar. Western Europe and the United States are not too different in a lot of ways. We make fun of them for like and like no air conditioning, but like realistically, it's not terribly different culturally. You can read a majority of the signs there. I don't speak Elvish. I've never seen an elf in real life, like living in RuneScape, right? I'm not trying to be weird, but like I don't know anything about that culture or that community. Going to Prif, for me, feels more akin to like going to Dubai or going to Jerusalem or Istanbul or Cairo or something like that, where like I have no grasp. I have about as much grasp on the Arabic language as I do the Elvish language. So like I don't know what any of the signs mean. I don't know what's culturally appropriate to do, say, where, how to act. I don't know where's the best place to go get food. I don't know. I don't know these things. Not a matter of like it's a problem because it's different. But
it's not familiar.
It's not any semblance of familiarity with some of these cities. And for me, that's what Prif feels more akin to. I would go because part of the fun of traveling is being super confused as long as you're safe about it. Part of the fun is being confused. But, I don't think that it gives New York City vibes in that like... At least for me, the way I see it. I don't think it's wrong to say that it's like a big extravagant city like New York, but
yeah, you make good points.
I'm also not sure. Yeah.
I think the second place I would probably want to go would be somewhere simple. Cause like for me, I'm not a city person. Like I went to Chicago for work. It was overwhelming. Give me a small town and I'll explore like the bookstores and the antique shops, So for me, I think a place like Catherby or Camelot, just like the Sears Village area, that's quadrant of the Gielinor, that quadrant of Gielinor, which is, I think it's a boring answer because if you're a longtime listener of the show, you know that is often the place that I go back to, but it really is probably the most beautiful place other than Hosidius that I can think of.
All right. Let's think of like you're actually a tourist, right? RuneScape is significantly larger than what it is on the map, right? Let's kind of take the dorks and daggers approach and think that it takes several days to walk from Ardoyan to Yanil or Yanili or whatever they call it on the
Let's
show.
just call it Yanil.
Love you guys. So let's say it takes a while, right? You stay in a town like Sears Village, right? Sears Village probably has more stuff to do. Maybe you take a day trip up to Sinclair Mansion for the day. Give it a tour. Maybe you take a day trip to the Camelot Castle. Give it a tour. Maybe you take a day trip to Catherby and do some fishing. Or maybe you go from Sears Village to Catherby for a day and then you charter a ship somewhere like a Viking cruise. Ooh. You know how they have those. Maybe you take a day to go to MacGruber's Wood where it's like a garden tour day. Something like Palace of Versailles kind of mood. Maybe you feel real frisky and from Sears Village you go up to the Fremenning Province. Stay in Relica for a few days. That is a real Viking cruise. Shit. Like,
and to that point,
I don't think
Ardy is not too far. It'd probably be like a day trip. Like you stay overnight in Ardy and then you go back to Catherby or Sears.
Yeah. I mean, so while Catherby and Sears Village are some pretty commonly used answers by the both of us on this show, I don't think it's necessarily like a bad decision if you're talking like tourist trip wise. You know what I'm saying?
Love it. Well, Oxie, from the past, thank you for that fun question.
You're welcome.
Although,
future Michael.
Although it didn't pertain to any of the community question stuff, let us know what you think. What is your answer to the fun question? You can DM it to us, send us an email, post it in
hit us up in Discord. Yeah,
we want to know.
We've got the channel, the fun questions, Xpwaste, all sorts of stuff.
For sure.
Let us know. Well, with that, dearest XP Wasters, I think that is the closing of episode 72. It's going to be a longer one this week, which is good. We haven't had an over 2-hour episode in a while, I feel like. So this is probably going to be up there over the 2-hour mark. But thank you guys for listening. As always, the links for literally everything you would ever need, social media, Patreon, Discord, it's all in the description of this episode, which is either below me or above me, or you have to unlock your phone and find it on Spotify, or you have to go get your phone because you have your AirPods in, your phone's across the room while you're doing dishes, or you have to go to your laptop because you got us pulled up on TV and you got to go to the description of YouTube with your laptop because you've had it like folded closed. Either way, the description has everything you could need for us to see us on other platforms. Michael streams every Saturday. I stream. I have in the past. When I will next time, who knows? People keep asking if I'm going to stream Inferno stuff on Twitch. That's a fat maybe.
Hey, I mean, you could do it on the Xpwaste YouTube now.
I could. Maybe that'll be a fun inaugural stream. Get the Infernal Cape on the Xpwaste YouTube channel. But go check out our YouTube, which has all these podcasts, but in video form. You ever watched or listened to a piece of content or listen to like a music artist and have no idea what they look like? Yeah. If
is that you out there?
I mean, maybe if that's the veil that you live under, where you're like, man, I have been listening for 72 weeks and I have no idea what Michael and Oxie look like. Which is bold because we put our pictures in the thumbnails of every episode.
They would have to go.
But if you still don't know, go check it out on YouTube. Maybe you don't know like which face to put to which voice. Maybe that's a thing.
Which one is which?
I'm normally on the to Michael's normally on the. That's how we've been doing it for.
You should
ever. I feel like
bleep those out. Just keep the mystery. If you made it this far in the episode, here's a little gem for you.
Yeah. Or if you've made it this far into the Xpwaste podcast,
and you still don't know.
If this isn't like your first episode, right? If you're like 30 episodes deep and you still don't know, like we're gonna keep it a secret from you. Like you have no way of knowing now.
Oh man.
Our Discords also have our faces on them. In any case, that's beside the point. Do all the things. Follow us on everything.
Where can people go to
you don't
get stuff
necessarily
that has our, like, you know,
have
things you wear?
Yes, Michael, we were getting to that. Don't you worry.
I was only a little worried, Oxie.
Oh my god, so good to be back.
Sorry,
We do have a merch store in case you want. We don't
shut
have
up.
any merch with our faces on it. We don't have any merch with our faces on it, funny enough. So you can't like wear our faces around. If for some reason that's something you want, let us know. Maybe, no promises, because again, who the hell wants that? But like maybe. But we have a lot of cool designs on there. I'm not even gonna say new designs are coming because we've said it like for 6 weeks in a row, and we still gotta. We're gonna do it, folks. We're gonna do it. But go check that out. That is also in the description down below. Because why would I read it out loud when you can click on it? You can't click on my words. And with that word of wisdom, a word you cannot click on, that is how we're going to end this week's episode. Michael is shaking his head, going, "I cannot wait till you go on vacation again."
That's not true.
Everyone, it has been real. It has been fun. We will see you next week for the RuneScape Funny Number episode. Bye.